You're the last creel maker in South Armagh. Paddy The Creel we called him, but his name was Paddy McCann. And when the creels went out of vogue and people got carts for the donkeys, Paddy was redundant. I'd like you to look that up now when you go home. Redundant. It means of no further use. So Paddy was of no further use, but he turned his hand to other jobs like building gate piers and tightening slates and thatching houses and working for the small farmer. He didn't realise how useful he was until he was made redundant. And one of the jobs he got was building a gate pier at Silverbridge School. Started in good time in the morning with mortar and stones, and he was smoking a Benevis cutty. That's a long shank clay pipe with a wee tit on the head of it. He was smoking warhorse tobacco. And the booze of smoke went up and down and under the door and through the cracks in the window. And the old schoolmaster was up at the blackboard, and he smelt the tobacco, and he started clapping his pockets and looking and searching for his own pipe. And Glorio discovered that he had left the house without it. Took a weakness in his inside for a pull of the pipe and could stick it no longer, but out he went to Paddy. Says he, Paddy, for the love of God, says he, could you ever give me a couple of pulls out of your pipe? Certainly, master, says Paddy, and he handed him the pipe. And when the old schoolmaster got the pipe, he put his hand into his pocket and he took out a great big white handkerchief and he started to rub and re-rub at the mouthpiece of the pipe. And when he had it very well rubbed, he put it in his mouth and he smoked it for a while. And when he was finished smoking it, he gave it back to Paddy and he thanked him. Paddy took the pipe off him, put it up on the pier, took the trowel and cut 1.5 inches off the end of the shank and stuck it in his mouth. I'm only telling you that part of the story to let you see that although Paddy was a very humble man, he was very, very particular about what he put into his own mouth. He went into Silverbridge one day, you know, and for anybody here that doesn't know where Silverbridge is or what it is, I'll tell you now. It's a grocer's shop, a public house and a post office all under the one roof. 2 women fell out now of parish and one of them says, give over, she says, or I'll go through you like a funeral through Silverbridge. Paddy went into the grocery end. The loaf was 4pence halfpenny at the time, and ounce of tobacco was 4pence halfpenny at the same time. And Paddy went in and he says to the wee girl behind the counter, daughter dear and darling, says he, could you get me a loaf of bread there in a hurry? She run over and she got the loaf of bread and she wrapped it up in a great big lump of tissue paper. Oh Lord, do you mind the tissue paper? It was as soft. When it used to come home on bread long ago, it would be folded up and put behind the plates on the dresser. That was the habit if visitors would happen to come. He just had the tissue paper and the loaf under his arm like that, and he was searching in his waistcoat pocket for the 4pence halfpenny, and a man come through the door like a full blast. Oh Lord, Paddy, says he, am I glad to see you. What's wrong with you now, says Paddy. The wind come last night and blew the felt off the pig craw roof, he says, and I'm after getting nails and I'm after getting felt, he says. I've a hammer and a ladder, says he, I have everything, but I have no head for heights. Maybe, in the name of God, says he, you'd come up and nail on the bit of felt for me. Do you think, says Paddy, if I go up, would I get me dinner? You'll get your dinner, says he, and you'll get your tea, and I'll pay you on top of that. Oh, daughter dear, says he, I'll not be needing this loaf today at all. Would you ever take it back, says he, and give me 1 ounce of tobacco instead of it? She took the loaf back and she gave him the ounce of tobacco and he stuck it in his pocket. And he was going out through the door in a great swagger with him to nail on the felt. Excuse me, Paddy, she says. You didn't pay me for that tobacco. That's right, darling, says he, sure I give you the loaf instead of it. But she says, Paddy, you didn't pay me for the loaf. Or I damn you for a fraud, says he, sure I didn't take the flaming loaf. But one of the jobs Paddy got was driving a Clydesdale horse and a swing plough for a man called Con the Dandy that lived in the townland of Cashel. Will you remember that? The townland of Cashel hangs up like a picture on a wall. Nothing in it, only wind, stones, gill gowns and rushes. And Con the dandy, a near begone owl sod of a man, which he was that miserable he thought he owed himself money, and would waken 2 or 3 times during the night to make sure that he wasn't losing any sleep. The old Shannon summed him up one time. He was talking about him. He says, well, poor Con, says he, do you know the sort of him, if he had 2 apples, he'd eat the big one and keep the wee one for himself. Well, if he had to be fit to swing the plough and drive the Clydesdale horse, Paddy The Creel would never have got the job, but he wasn't fit. And they ploughed away the whole morning, just coming up to 11 o'clock, turned in on the bottom head rig and was heading up again the hill. And as I said before, nothing, only wind, stones, gill gowns and rushes in Cashel. So when the cuckoo flies over Ireland, it shouts, cuckoo, cuckoo. And when it comes to the townland of Cashel, it shouts, ah-ha-ho. They turned in on the bottom head rig and went up about 2 yards and struck a stone with a swing plough. And any man or woman here that ever ploughed with a swing plough knows what I'm talking about, and I'm telling no lies. When the sock hits the stone, the 2 shafts of the plough comes up straight. And if you're not there to swing the plough, what happens? It comes up and breaks 3 ribs with the one wallop. Or takes you on the docks there here, knocks your shoulder blade out of joint and your hand goes round behind your back and you can't get it round. Till some doctor or 2 or 3 of them maybe has to put that shoulder into place again. Did you ever see a man on the fair with a half a lug on him? That was the fella got a welt of a swing plough. So old Quixie was going with the barrow one time to get a bag of Clarenda in Ben McArdle's shop, and he heard a man moaning in the field behind the ditch. And when he looked in, this man was laying, groaning, and the horse was grazing. Says he, what's wrong with you? Damn it, says he, I got a welt of the swing plough for a struck of stone, says he, and I think my shoulder's knocked out of joint. His hand was round behind his back and he couldn't take it to the front. I'll put you in the barrow, says he, and I'll walk easy, says he, with you over as far as the doctor. So he put him in the barrow and he walked easy with him, and he got him over, and our doctor at the time was near 80 years of age, put him up on the bench and he got kneeling on the chair. But he hadn't the power in his arms to pull it round, but he worked at him for about 20 minutes till the sweat was dropping off the doctor. So see, I'm not able, he said, you'll have to get him into casualty immediately. So they put him in the link box of a Fortune Major tractor and it dragged him the 10 mile into Newry, and into casualty. He flung him up on the bench, and there was 2 nurses and a doctor at him in casualty. And the minute they started to put the shoulder into joint, the shouting started. Well, in 2 minutes he had the whole hospital up, the roars and the shouts of him. And the next thing, the matron come flying in with a matron's face on her. What nonsense, she says, is going on down here? But the doctor says, I beg your pardon, madam, but I but this gentleman's there, And she looked and she saw him there spread out, Wellington boots and all. A big ploughman, she says, like you, causing such a fuss. There was a young married woman up there, she says, in maternity this morning, gave birth to a 10-pound baby, and there wasn't half the shouting and nonsense that's going on down here. You go up, says he, and start putting it in again, you bloody thing here. Tell the truth. On Con the Dandy, he was the boy could swing a plough. Up come the shafts and down again. Paddy had the 2 reins in his hand, and he said, hop off, horse there, get up the hell out of that. Get up, back. That's the way you talk to a horse. The horse never moved. Con says, will you go up, says he, and take that animal by the head and get him started? He says, what the hell am I paying you for? Paddy went up to catch the Clydesdale horse by the winkers, and when he went up, he says, oh, holy law, he says, take a look at this. What's wrong with him, says Con. Oh, the 2 A's is upside down in his head. The insides of them's looking out, says he. Go for Clinton the vet. He was a vet in Dundalk, the smartest man ever. He could sew a leg on a horse, he was that smart. He come in a car swizzing with suede shoes on him and picked his steps over the ploughed field, and when he got over to where the horse was, he got all business like, flung down his bag. He says, come round here, you. Hold that animal tight by the head with your 2 hands. Come back here, he says, with me. Hold that animal's tail up over his back. Pull it up, man, he says. You'll not pull it off, you know. Hold it fast there. He opened the bag, and he took out a rubber hose about 4 foot long. Oh, real darling, if you're going to steal petrol there on a Saturday night to go to the dance. Took it round behind the horse and put about 10 inches of it in and under the horse's tail. And he was standing with the other end of the hose in his hand. And he says to Paddy, now hold him tight. I'm going to blow on this hose. And when that animal's 2 eyes comes back, middle for diddle, you put your hand up, because you wouldn't have time to shout stop. I overblow, he says, on this pipe. I don't know where those 2 eyes would go to. And I don't mind admitting, gentlemen, he says, I would be in no position to start sucking. So he blew on the pipe. And just in a minute, up went the hand. And out come the hose, and he flung it into the bag, and he got £3 of con the dandy. Took some doing. He groaned like the north wind giving it to him. And away he went. They ploughed away that evening. The next day, just coming up to dinner time, turned in, struck another stone, just like that. Hop off, horse. Come on, get up out of that. Yeah, hop off. Horse never moved. Gop says, come and take a look and see what way his days in that animal's head. Up he went. Oh, overboard again, says he. I'm a go for Clinton. You'll go for no Clinton, says Con. Go down, says he, to the house and tell our Bridget to give you the knapsack sprayer that's hanging up yonder in the barn. Take it up here to me. Up come the sprayer, and he took the penknife out of his pocket and he cut the hose off the sprayer. Hold him tight now, says he. And he went back with the hose, trying to howl the tail and put in the hose. 2 men's job at the behind, and after a lot of kicking and spluttering, he got the hose in with an awful lot to do. And he was standing with the end of it in his hand like what he saw Clinton at. Now, says he, I'm going to blow. And you be ready with your hands, says he. And he started to blow. And if he was blowing from now to Tibbs Eve in the morning, the 2 A's never budged. I'll tell you what, says he, I'll howl the horse and you come back, he says, and blow, for you're a pipe smoker, says he, and there'll be more wind in you than what's in me. Paddy went back, and the first thing he done when he went back, he pulled the hose out and he turned it round and started putting the other end of it in. Damn your skin, says Con, what are you at with that flaming hose after the trouble I had putting it in? Well, damn your soul, says Paddy, you don't think I'm going to put the same end of my mouth that you had stuck in your rattle?